Where's your phone right now? Is it in your hand, in your pocket, in your bag? We as people keep our cell phones on us at all times because we use it for almost every daily activity. After college, I'm going to be a high school teacher, and the cell phone policy in my classroom is going to be one of the most important rules that I'm going to have to make for my classroom. With the correct classroom management, students should be allowed to have their cell phones on them during school and in class. First, we're going to look at how not allowing students to have their phones is going to negatively affect them. Then we are going to look at the problems or the counter arguments of having students handle their phones in school. And then we are going to analyze how teachers can use the correct classroom management skills in order to get the most out of the students' cell phones and their usage. One of the first problems that comes with not allowing students to have their cell phones on them is taking away the opportunity. A cell phone is basically a little computer that they can mobilize in their pocket. They can put in their pocket, they can put it in their backpack, they can use it wherever. Students are able to access learning tools such as Google Docs if they need to work on an assignment, Google Classroom to see their to-do list, Kahoot as a learning activity, and many more things that they can access off of their phone to use for educational resources. It is the 21st century and everything revolves around technology. In schools, we see technology rapidly increasing and there's nothing that we can do about it. A cell phone is such a powerful tool that many schools across the world are going to be using them and integrating them into their curriculum. With educational resources being at the fingertips of our students, it would be a crime not to allow them to use it to their full potential. The second problem with not allowing students to have their cell phones on them is their overall safety. I always hear my family members say to me, the world isn't what it always used to be. This means that the world now is not as safe as it used to be. Whether if I know if that's true or not, I don't know. I was born in 2002. So with that being said, I have seen multiple parents. My mom had Life 360 on me, which is a tracking device. And in 2010, there was a study done saying that 45% of parents had tracked their children's phones for their location. In the current age of 2021, 65% of parents now track their child's location. This is important because of things in this current day of age, just like human trafficking, abductions, or if their child chooses to run away, the parents are always going to know where their child is. If you had a child in school, wouldn't you want to know where they always are? Allowing students to have their phones with them is one of the best ways to ensure their safety, and on top of that, it gives the parents the most comfort. Now we're going to look at the problems with allowing students to have their phones and how teachers themselves can fix them. One of the first ones is uneducational usage. There was a study conducted at Sheridan High School showing that 95% of phone usage in schools was unproductive. In another article, it was stated that the benefits of allowing students to use their cell phones during school was for them to use them as educational tools that was previously stated. Utilizing this tool and allowing students to take pictures of important images, allowing them to audio record their teachers during lessons, and even listening to music so they don't get sidetracked are all examples of ways that teachers themselves can use their students' cell phones to get the most out of the educational tool. Nowhere in that article that said that 95% of the usage was uneducational stated that and if the teacher did in fact manage their classroom to use their phones effectively. Holding students accountable to use their resources like their cell phone responsibly and knowing what to use and when to use it will teach them responsibility, and they will carry that lesson with them for the rest of their lives. Every high school student needs responsibility. The second one is going to be contact. Now, many people argue that if a parent needs to get in contact with a student, that they should go through the school and then the school should go through the student or the teacher that they're in. On February 14th of 2018, Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida, had one of the biggest mass school shootings in history. Since the students at that high school were allowed to have their phones on them, students were then able to communicate with their loved ones. Some even recorded videos of the tragic event, and they were able to just contact people. Now, if a lockdown does happen, which it happened there, lockdowns are mandatory within a school shooting, students are not able to communicate with their parents if they weren't to have their cell phones because they would have to go through school administration. Now, at that time, school administration was in lockdown. They were hiding, they were protecting themselves. So, with that being said, if you had a child in school and a tragic event like that was happening, wouldn't you want to be in contact with them? Tell them to stay calm, tell them that you love them. Now we're going to look at the ways that a teacher themselves can manage their classroom to use their cell phones effectively. First, overall, is the biggest point of all classroom management. Teachers who have good classroom management skills will get the best out of their students. One of the most effective ways to ensure that students are completing their work is putting a timer on the board. So let's say that a teacher is allowing their students to use their cell phones and or computer or any other electronic for an assignment that they're working on. One of the biggest concerns about using cell phones in school is time management, that the students are going to get distracted or they're not going to complete their work. One of the best ways to manage a classroom is to put a timer up on the board for however long the assignment should take. With allowing students to use their cell phones and having that timer, they will not get sidetracked unless the worksheet is done, then they have nothing to do. Also, that timer will tell them how much time they have left, and they can realize if they are getting sidetracked, they will take one look at that timer and realize, oh, I have to get my work done, stop being sidetracked, and then getting back to work. The last one is going to be cheating. Cheating is a big concern whenever it comes to students using their cell phones within their class. If a student is going in to take a test and they have the answers on their phone and they pull it out, that is one of the most common ways of cheating nowadays in the 21st century. If a teacher were to allow their students to use their cell phones or any other electronic to study, but then make the students put all of their electronics, such as their phones or like their Apple Watches, in a designated area for tests, quizzes, or other important assignments, the students will be less able to cheat. So, with that being said, students should have their phones on them at all times, especially to study, because with all the learning disabilities that people have, there's various ways that students can learn things. Maybe this can be the thing that allows them to pass school. Cell phones are one of the most effective ways for students to communicate and learn. With moderation set by a teacher of the cell phone usage, students are then able to correctly use their cell phones and all of their electronics. So, do you think cell phones should be allowed in school? Thank you.